Act 1, beat it. Sometimes things start happening to you and then they keep happening to you, and it's only once days and weeks have passed that you realize exactly what it is that's going on. That's what happened to Mike Birbiglia. He recorded this story in front of an audience in Cambridge, Massachusetts.
When I was a freshman in high school, I went to an all-boys Catholic school called St. John's in Shrewsbury, Massachusetts. And the first few weeks of school are pretty overwhelming, because there are kids from all different towns: Shrewsbury, Worcester, Sutton, Oxford, Milford, Leominster, Milford. And one of the things about all-boys schools is that homophobia is almost a religion. As opposed to usually where it's just an integral part of a religion. We were constantly calling each other gay. A common conversation would be like, "You're gay." "No, you are." "No, you are." And that would go on for like an hour. And every day when we walked down the hill to soccer practice, there was a back and forth between the soccer and football teams that the other team was in fact gay. And what developed was this kind of all-out "you're gay" war. I found out later that one of my "you're gay" grenades hit a guy named Joey Grigioni. Now, I didn't know Joey Grigioni, but he was from Worcester. He was tough. He liked to fight. This is going to sound like I'm making this up, but he was like a cross between a white Allen Iverson and a velociraptor. So one day I'm walking down the hill to soccer practice, and I'm hit by what feels like a rock on the back of my head. I later found out that it was a fist. Forgot to mention this detail. Joey had rock-like fists. The impact of this immediately knocks me to the ground, and I'm on the ground. I'm being hit by these rock fists, and finally I'm like, I need to run away. I don't even consider fighting back. I'm just like, I need to leave here. This is going terribly. This is the worst walk ever. So he hits me about 4 or 5 times. Mind you, he's in full football gear, and I am in nylon shorts and shin guards. So if he had wanted to beat the crap out of my shins, no dice. Really, anywhere else on my body is fair game. Particularly my head, which he seemed focused on. I run down the hill and he shouts, "Now who's gay?" And he was right. In that context between me and him, I was definitely the one who was gay. But it's at this point that I realize that Joey Grigioni actually cared that someone had called him gay. That's what confused me. It never occurred to me that it had any meaning to call anyone gay. I mean, we called everything gay. The football team, some of our teachers, the water fountain, geometry, tuna fish sandwiches. I mean, anything. And so, anyway, I go to practice and I try to go on business as usual. And that day in the middle of sprints, I start crying, and I can't control it. And the coach asked me what happened, and I tell him. And so at this point, there's an investigation, and I assume Joey Grigioni will be punished in some way. I mean, I don't know, but maybe suspended, maybe even expelled from school. But he isn't. He's suspended for 1 football game. There are things that kids do to each other in high school that if you did them as adults, you would go to jail for sure. Like if I walked up here and I said to this guy, like, "You're gay," and he takes my head and smashes it on the stage, he would go to jail. Not at St. John's. One football game, which I thought was nothing, but apparently Joey was furious about this. So he sends some other bullies after me because they're watching him at this point. And one day I'm walking back from soccer practice, and this guy named Tom Bacati walks up to me, and he gets in my face. But there's nothing really to argue about, because the original fight was based on nothing. He was like, you're never going to call Joey Grigioni gay again or I'll kill you. And I was like, absolutely. You have my word, fine sir. One day I'm at my locker and this guy, Bill Murphy, goes, hey, Mike. And I look over and he punches me in the face. Not really hard, but hard enough that it made the punch in the face noise, which is pride swallowing. And he goes, that's for Joey Grigioni. And I'm like, what? Like, what? Wait a minute, this guy is smaller than me. And what's sad is I don't even fight back. I'm like, I guess this is what my life is like now. The next day I'm in the computer lab and I'm writing an article for the school paper about the aviation club. And this guy walks in and he goes, Dave Kilroy's looking for you and he's gonna kill you. And I'm like, I don't even know who Dave Kilroy is. That's how bad my situation was. I'm the kind of person who, for fun, writes articles called Aviation Club Soars into Orbit. And a bully I have never heard of is sending out envoys. One more thing that made this entirely strange, and this might just be funny for me, but there was a dress code at the school, and so in the middle of all this violence, everyone is wearing a coat and tie. So these bullies are, they look like these low-rent child mobsters sent in to discipline people on bad loans. And well, I make it through the winter, and I decide that I'm going to stick it out. Like all great underdogs, I'd been knocked down, but I was going to make a place for myself. So I run for class president, and I lose by a lot. And then I try out for the tennis team, and I don't make it by a lot. St. John's just didn't want to participate in my life. And at the end of the year, I came up with a different idea, which was to quit. And I ran this by all the adults in my life, my teachers, my parents, my guidance counselor. And what's surprising is that no one tried to talk me out of it. They didn't say those things that you hear like in the after-school specials, like, hey, buddy, don't give up, and stick it out, champ, or don't let them get the best of you, ace. The best of me was off the table, and everyone knew it. Somehow I'd become the fall guy for the entire 9th grade class. I symbolized a certain kind of kid, the kind of kid who everyone hates. So I left. And at my new school, those first few weeks where everyone's getting to know each other, where you're from, what do you like to do, I decided to omit the fact that at my previous school, for a year, I had been picked on so badly that I left the school. And here's the truth about life that they never tell you in those after-school specials. Running away works. Because you know what? The kids at my new school, they never found out.
Mike Birbiglia, he starts a national tour in August, going through the fall from Cape Cod to Los Angeles. Search the internet for his name for details.